Dustin.
And I'm Molly.
And this is
Reviews for Humans.
Teen Wolf.
So we start off with Allison. She's at a gas station. She's getting some gas, and then all of a sudden the lights go out, and you're like, "Oh no, Allison's in trouble!" And she gets kidnapped.
Kidnapped.
Like, oh no, something bad has happened.
And they take her to Derek's house, and you're thinking, "Ooh, super spooky!" And the bag's taken off of her head, and it's her dad is tied up to a chair next to her, and there's this spooky voice saying, "What do you think's gonna happen if a werewolf bites you, Allison? What do you think your daddy's gonna have to do to you, Allison?"
He would do nothing.
Nothing. He would totally Sheriff Lockwood that shit. You know it.
Vampire Diaries. It turns out that was just training exercise.
Yeah, and Allison is not amused, but they leave her tied up in that room.
And she has to free herself with a sharpened arrow.
So she comes out, and the guy who helped, the day player that helped kidnap her is like standing out there, and they have like a little witty retort, and it seems like maybe they flirt a little bit, but it doesn't last very long because Lizard Man comes up and kills him right after she leaves.
Yeah, that's all we see of Lizard Man this episode.
So Jackson is having like the biggest, like, I guess, eighth life crisis.
Identity crisis.
Yeah, because he wanted to be a werewolf so bad,
but he's in
not.
Science class, and they're watching a video
about immunity and how, like, sometimes you can get immune to things. And so he's like, "Oh, Lydia didn't turn into a werewolf either. She's immune and she gave it to me." And so he attacks her in the hallway.
And yells in her face, "It's all your fault!"
And later, he's playing angry lacrosse by himself. His truck gets stuck in the mud, and so...
he's just like, "My life is in shambles!"
I thought he drove the Porsche.
He picks up with the power of his cheekbones the rear end of this whole entire truck, and then he's like...
Poor epileptic Erica. And Erica is sad and fat and epileptic, and she's
not fat.
No, but they make it look like she's fat because she wears all the bulky sweat.
They're climbing the rock wall in class. She can't do it. She has a fit, so...
Not an epileptic fit.
Right.
She just has
literally a
scary
tantrum.
fit.
Then later, when everybody's gone away, she goes in the gym, she pulls her hair, and she's like, "I'm gonna do this." And she goes to climb it, and Scotty, because he's a dog...
is having a totally loud conversation with Styles about werewolves in the locker room, and his hand starts shaking, and he's like, "Oh no,
something's the matter." So he runs to the gym, and she's having an epileptic seizure, and he catches her, and she ends up in the hospital.
Derek comes and convinces her to werewolf her.
And he creepily seduces her into becoming a werewolf. I mean, but if that happened to me, I would be like, okay.
And she comes back to school, and she's all like, sexy-fied. Scott's not fooled. He's like, "That bitch is a werewolf." She and Isaac...
Derek and his new wolf pack, they meet Scotty at the...
Because there's a third person that Derek wants to turn, and Scott goes to try and stop him, and they have a big wolf fight, and it's fighting wolves, but Derek doesn't do anything until the end, and then him and Scott meet, and they fight, and it turns out that...
They fight, and then they just stop fighting.
Yeah, because Derek is honestly, he's not such a bad guy.
He just wants power.
Yeah.
So Scott tells the kid that is going to be a werewolf, says, "You don't want to be like them." And then he opens his shirt, and he's already been bit, and he says, "No, I want to be like you." And then he walks off with Derek, which left me a little confused. And Lydia's flipping out.
Having visions.
They go on a double date. Styles, Lydia, Scott, Allison.
And
everybody's having a good time.
Styles feeds her Reese's Pieces.
And everybody's having a good time, but she starts seeing hot Uncle Burn victim everywhere.
And like flowers.
And
Wolfsbane all over the place. And
it's craziness.
She goes
She's going crazy.
What's going on? Oh, the vet.
Oh, yeah.
And Daddy Argent shows up with the Lizard Man's latest victim, and he's like, "We both know you're not just a vet."
Okay, so now it's time for...
Scene of the week.
Standing in the locker room talking loudly about werewolves surrounded by people.
Isn't that awesome that that's a thing that happens? Oh, I'll save you.
Epilepsy. So that was our scene of the week.
Hope you liked it.
Yes, you did. So follow us on the Twitters.
And the Facebooks.
And the Facebooks.
And the YouTube.
Yes.
That's where you're watching this.
Right now.
Okay, bye.
Rah, 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 rah.